change the world through travel.
People are good. I believe in the general goodness of people.
To play and have fun and enjoy life and help other people do the same, right?
We're only on this planet for a short time. I don't know where we came from. I don't know where we're going after this, but my whole why in life is just to kind of be a witness to this place that I've been dropped upon, to see it, to appreciate it.
To figure out who you want to be in the world.
All right. Well, welcome to another episode. And today we're talking about seeing other people as a friend. And our two guests today are perfect for this topic. They're coming to us from Israel. We have Yael and Maya Reynolds. And we love having guests from all around the world. So this is exciting. I want to start with Maya because I have been following your Instagram. It's quite amazing. And I guess it was about a year ago, but Maya quit her job, just, I guess, cold turkey, and bought a one-way ticket to the Philippines based on kind of a connection with someone there that you didn't know at all. So I am dying to hear more about that. What job were you working at when you left?
I was working at a kind of media company. I used to call it kind of Israeli BuzzFeed,
Okay.
but for America. Either way, I kind of had this decision or epiphany way before I quit. Even though it seemed very spontaneous, I kind of planned it for months and months of I'm going to quit November 1st, I'm going to leave November 15th. It was a whole thing. And the girl that I met, I just found on Facebook on this Israeli Facebook group called like Israelis going to the Philippines. And I wrote, I'm going to the Philippines. Who wants to come? And she wrote, I know you from TikTok and I want to come. Yeah. It's been an ongoing issue, my need to travel.
I can relate. So what was it when you first got there? Was it scary at all, or you were just chill?
Honestly, yeah, it was really, really calming. I had no idea that people in the Philippines specifically spoke perfect English. It was really, really easy. When we got there, someone picked us up, took us 4 hours to our hostel, and it was, I think, $6 each. And
How
that's
long
kind
did
of
you live in the hostel? Did you live in the
what?
hostel for a long time? Did you live in the hostel for a long time?
We would move every 2, 3 days. So we were in that hostel for 3 days. We would book a boat across the islands to another one that only leaves on Tuesday at 6 a.m. if you bring a certain colored ticket, and then a man picks you up on his motorcycle and
Oh
throws
my
you on.
gosh.
His buddy's going to pick you up when you get there, and hopefully he's there, and then everyone's just connecting and being super sweet. And you have no idea how things are working, but they have a system that just keeps things moving.
It's
And now
amazing.
you help people. So you help people now because you have a series of videos with the goal, I guess, of helping people follow in your footsteps.
Yeah, it's a lot of people come to me saying that they are going to go travel, even if it's not quitting their job and being as dramatic as I tend to be.
No, yeah, I've been to many countries and still adding to the list. And I'm always scared each time I go to a place. And then when I get there, I'm like, I can't believe I was scared. You just imagine
Yeah.
all the worst things that could happen. And what if we
Yeah,
get lost, but
even now I've been kind of getting scared again because I'm going to Sri Lanka this time, and it's been a year and a half since I left for my last trip. And I have all these fears. And what really helps me is that I journal a bunch. So I've been reading my journal since before my last trip and seeing, okay, this is exactly how I was feeling. Like your stomach kind of drops when you think about it. You get really nervous. You start having all these doubts. And then because you don't want to plan it, because you don't want to be an over planner, but everything works out. So
that's a great idea to journal like that. Have you found it easy to connect with other people, like to start conversations, let's say, with strangers in other countries?
yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I've become really comfortable with just walking up to people when they're eating or before they eat and just being like, "Can I sit with you?" I'm pretty approachable, a young girl, so I definitely try to take advantage of that privilege and just go up to people, and I have had lots of success in that way of just making new friends. And not everyone is going to be nice, but it's amazing rejection therapy, I would say.
I'm assuming, but I don't know this, that most people in Israel speak English, and most of the people in the Philippines spoke English. So how is that working for you? Are you learning new languages along the way?
I always try to learn the hello, goodbye, thank you, everything that I can bite onto. It is difficult for sure, especially when you're moving from country to country and even from region to region. In Vietnam, there were 52 languages I remember learning about. Not that most people did speak the general Vietnamese, but like if you went to a more local area, they might speak a completely different dialect that, for the most part, at that point, they just appreciate hello, thank you, how are you? But I did get really close with one guy in Vietnam, and he taught me how to like insult people. So that's wonderful.
That's
Did you
amazing.
feel like you were ever, someone had a preconceived notion of you as an American? Because I think some people are worried about what people think of us when we travel, and that makes them a little bit fearful.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm from America and from Israel, which is are not the two most adored places in the world right now. I mean, for the most part, there just aren't many Americans out there, which was a huge shock to me. I remember I saw my first American in the Philippines after about a month and a week. And he was from Chicago, and I freaked out, and I was like, "You're from Chicago, I'm from Chicago, what a world." And he like was so uninterested in the conversation.
Ah,
Oh, that's so sad.
I
it's
mean,
funny that you brought that up because I find the farther away you are, the more exciting it is that you meet somebody from your town. Like if I'm in Colorado and I meet somebody from Texas, that's
mhm.
kind of cool, but not that cool. But if I'm in Vietnam and I meet someone from Texas, it's like
Yeah.
amazing. And I always compare that to what if we all said, "Oh, you're from planet Earth. I'm from planet Earth." That's awesome. We have that in common. And I have received help that I never expected from people. We went to Nepal, my son and we were up
Mm.
in the mountains of Nepal, and we had to get back to Kathmandu for our flight. But nobody told us when there's an election, you're not allowed to travel out of your town. So these people got together. We explained we've got to get to our flight, and they got together and arranged like this whole caravan. At first, we were on a motorcycle, and then we were in a car with a pregnant woman who said she had to get to Kathmandu for medical. They were helping us, didn't even know who we were. And I think kind of at a little bit of danger to themselves. So I just find wherever I go, people are willing to help. So it's great to make new friends that way. And I think, Maya, you are living the dream of so many people, especially in America, of any age, 20s to 60s, of I just want to break out of where I am. I want to quit what I'm doing and I just want to travel the world. But it seems impossible. So what would you say to those people?
I would say it's not. I think that people have this preconceived notion that travel is really expensive, and it is expensive. Like flights can be expensive, but for the most part, I was averaging around $30 a day. Um, I think I remember, for example, throughout an entire month in Vietnam, obviously not including flights because I wasn't flying from anywhere far away, but it was less than $1,000 I spent in the whole month. Food, 3 meals a day, everything. Like accommodation was $1 a night. And obviously that's not the same for every location in the world, but if you have time and no money, I have recommendations for you. But if you're a working person and you only have a couple vacation days a year, it's a different situation. You probably have a good amount of money, stable income, but not as much time. So there's different places and different things I'd recommend for those people.
That's great. We will link your information so that people can connect with you. And I was going to ask Yael if, as a mother, you were worried about Maya taking off and traveling, but my guess is no, because I saw on your website, your whole mantra is break your own rules, get out of the box. So I would imagine you're pretty proud of her for what she's doing.
Extremely proud. I keep telling her every day to the point that she's blushing to no return. She's she really has become very accomplished and motivated, persevering, focused, and super curious person. And I will take some credit
Oh,
because
Of course. You're entitled to that.
I mean, we raised them, all the four of them, with the joie de vivre of travel, be curious, experience, make mistakes, learn languages, places, try new foods, new culture, new music, talk to new people all the time. It's only great. And if something comes your way, the more mistakes you make and the more experience you have, you know how to handle it. Like you said, in Nepal, you approach people and you get the help. And the more you travel, the more you understand, wait a minute, yeah, might not be familiar. However, I can ask for help. And I as a traveler myself, the bug is in the house. It's very contagious. You just ask for help, and people are beyond eager. And this is also as something that we know holistically, that we are so open to help people, and it's a privilege. It's exchanging this energy of giving once asked is so wonderful. Myself, I started traveling at the age of 17, so I decided not to finish high school and finish it differently. I did finish high school, but not in the conventional way. And traveling, I'm talking to you in the early 80s, late 70s, hitchhiking through Europe. Nobody did it. And I grew up in Israel. Nobody did it. So break your own rules? Yeah, probably. Here for 4 months, I bought a one-way ticket. So I don't know when I'm coming back to the States. We are in the southern territories of Israel. We are about 55 kilometers from Gaza. So, as you know, the war is going on, and occasionally there's an explosion in the distance. We are in a war zone, and we are safe. We're fine. Life totally goes on. That's part of also traveling, is to understand that it's moving.
But you, Yael, have overcome some extra challenges, if you don't mind sharing. I heard from Phyllis that you hiked a ridge of the Himalayas with a special challenge. Do you mind talking about it?
Oh, no, sure. I'll be happy to. I'm honored to. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I have a syndrome called CMT, Charcot-Marie-Tooth. It's a loss of muscle function in the lower limb. So from the knee down and from the elbow down, I use AFO's ankle foot orthotics to help me walk and balance myself. Without them, I can probably walk 100 yards and I'm done. With them,
it's amazing.
They're like braces that keep my leg in 90 degree, my foot, so I don't have reflection. In hiking shoes, I did hike. I was in Nepal. You mentioned you were, so we share something very wonderful in common here. It's amazing. Yeah, I hiked. I did quit 2 days before the end of our tour trip. We had a guide for women in our 60s. I noticed I said yes, and then went into, oh my God, what have I said yes to? It's a mistake. It's a mistake. So with that fear, with that anxiety, I started stepping into the mountains and walked with the fear and realized what it is to be in the moment, and also being very attentive to my physical self. So it's not about I can do it no matter what. It's realizing literally step by step, one step up, many steps up, many steps down. As you probably know, Nepal has no flat areas. It's only up and down.
And climbing with your hands, you said.
Some of it was hanging, and it was challenging. And realize that being in the moment and keeping that joy of the curiosity, I was like, okay, without the chatter of, oh my God, I can do it, it's not going to work out, then I lose the moment. And it was, to me, a great practice of in the now. It's literally being in the moment.
It's getting in your ego. Like, you don't need to like whether or not you finish doesn't matter. You have to listen to your body. And we were so proud of her when she told us that she was gonna like take a few days to rest before the end, because obviously we're all freaking out. We know of her disability. We all think about her all the time. We're all amazed by her. She walks more than any of us. You did 18,000 steps yesterday. I don't even know where to. But yeah, we were so happy because she's really instilled in us to always listen to our bodies, and that's it. Like everything you need to know, kind of your body will tell you.
I can see how proud you are, both of you, of each other, just the way you look at each other. It's wonderful.
Sometimes when our world feels fractured and we have so many things to do, we forget to enjoy this one life we are given. Eyes of Wonder Journeys creates opportunities for travel and discovery. Two performing arts teachers, Lori Gabriel and Roberta Hamilton Griggs, have formed a tour company that is focused on guiding travelers to some of the world's most iconic destinations. By exploring new places with curiosity and an open mind, we can uncover meaningful ways to enrich our lives. Through our eclectic tours and our new podcast, we meet a wide range of people who help us appreciate the opportunities our world provides.
That makes me think of a story. I was hiking Yosemite, and I was reaching a point where I'm like, this is just too hard. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And in my mind, I said, I'm just going to turn around. And right at that moment, some Boy Scout appeared in a little scout suit out of nowhere. And he says, don't give up now. You're almost there. I still get chills thinking of it. I'm like, how did this person appear right at the moment I needed? How did he know I was about to give up? And why did he say that? So I think there's just something magic in the universe that sends us people when we need them. and we want that person for somebody else, you know.
And what a profound lesson for all of life, right? Don't give up. You're almost there. You don't know what's around the corner, so keep going.
You don't. We hiked with the guide. His name is Krishna. I want to give a shout out for him. Mm-hmm. Krishna, who's a Nepalese, and took us through that hike over the 7 days, with about 8 to 9 hours walking a day. And he taught me that term in Nepalese, bishtari, bishtari, which is slowly, slowly. Mm-hmm. And every time I was like, oh, because I walk and I use my thighs mostly because my shins are useless. I basically walk on my thighs. I don't have muscles in my shins. And he says, okay, bishtari, bishtari, slowly, slowly, step by step. In the moment, step by step. You start slowly, you do it slowly, you reach it. You rush it, you can fail it. You know, it's like you hurt yourself when you rush, you know. Mm-hmm. So it was so many lessons. And he, as you said, you know, the universe sent me Krishna. I didn't know Krishna is going to be the guide. And Krishna also the name, you know, 32-year-old spirit. Amazing. Like, I can't say enough about this.
Love it. How do you guys feel that travel, both of you, how does traveling help us bring about peace? Because you're living in a place that desperately needs peace. How can traveling help bring that about, do you think?
I can speak to this because I've been really scared to travel since the war broke out in Israel. And I'm somebody who identifies as a traveler. And up until now, I worked for a travel company. Like everything about my life has been about travel, but I had this kind of internal fear of what happens when I go abroad and people have a really, generalized ideas of what an Israeli is at this time, especially Europeans. And so I planned a solo trip to Portugal, and I went, and that was my first time leaving the country since the war had broken out, and like to just travel, which had been like 7 or 8 months by then. And I held off to tell people that I was from Israel. I can definitely get away with not saying I'm from Israel because I am American, but then eventually I would tell people I'm from Israel. And for the most part, people were very cool. For a lot of people, I was maybe the personification of something that they had assumed was something else, kind of like, oh, here's a real life Israeli. It's not what I expected, which I feel like is beautiful, because I never had any actually negative experiences. Maybe a couple, but like for the most part, no.
Yeah, right. It's about curiosity. You guys brought that word up a couple of times, but not just curiosity of places and foods and all of that, but just be curious about someone else and not necessarily someone who is on the other side of the planet, someone who's in your office in the cubicle next to you, and you're assuming things about that person. If we were all just a little more curious, or a different political party or a different religion, just be a little more curious. And I think that's the key to peace, but we just don't do it enough.
Yeah, even if you think you know, just ask questions. People love to talk about where they're from.
But you actually said something that really struck me when you said that people, some questions were inappropriate. How do you, first of all, I don't know if you mind sharing what one of those questions might be, but how do you approach the response?
So some questions I've gotten have been from all over the board of just like, how do you sleep at night? How does it feel? Like, how does it feel to date people who are going and unaliving people? Questions that I never would ask anyone else, but I think people felt comfortable. And I also am a pretty like jokey, sarcastic person, so maybe people felt safe kind of asking these um, kind of inappropriate questions. But I always try to use it as a teaching opportunity.
I got a great question from someone lately. Do you guys, because I said, I'm from Israel, and it was before the war. I said, I'm from Israel. Oh, I have a weird question to you. Do you guys travel on camels? It's a biblical country. And I said, well, how do you think I got here? And he said, educated man, educated. I don't know, I'm just asking. I said, well, I was able to enter the country. My camel couldn't get a visa. So I answer like that many times to kind of ease it and not to be too critical. Inside, I was falling apart laughing. You learn the intricacies and the differences of what you should do and can't do, cannot do, appropriate, inappropriate. You expand, one expands the behavioral horizon as a human, understanding that other people are different. So become less critical, let more of the observer is amazing in traveling, amazing. And asking questions, as Maya said, ask questions. Oh, what makes you ask that?
That's another great strategy. Yeah. Answer a question with a question, as well as the humor. Those are great strategies. And you're a life coach as well, is that right?
I am. As that's my cloak now. I used to work for the networks with ABC, CNN, and German TV. I speak quite a few languages, which it's very helpful in traveling.
Yeah, she did not give that to me. I only have.
I gave it to you. You have to take it.
She speaks Hebrew, English, French, German, Yiddish.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's all for now.
That's
all for now. My life partner, my husband, is as a journalist, traveled the world. That's when the job pays, you travel.
That's how they met.
That's how we met, under fire, covering the first uprising in Israel, the Intifada in the 80s.
Wow.
Worked with Peter Jennings. Yeah. So, now I'm a life coach. Yes, I am.
When you are able to bring it on a person-to-person conversation, you learn so many things. You learn, well, guess what? Israelis are not the government. They're people. And Americans are not the government. They're individual people. And what they think about that may or may not align with their government in this particular moment. So I just think that's finding people one-on-one and calling them friend right away and opening up that conversation. That is just amazing.
When I travel, I notice that as much as there is sadness and sometimes despair about certain situations in the world, when I travel, I can put it behind me and be in that moment, which I repeatedly, refer to. In the moment, there are no issues. In the now, there are no problems. in the very moment of walking, biking, meeting people, in that very, very sense of the essence of the moment. There are no issues. And when one travels, most people are, actually everyone I know that I met during my travel are concentrated on what they're doing now. They are traveling, they are hiking, they are dining, they are meeting people, they are learning something new. So the rest becomes like, okay, yeah.
Totally
Okay.
agree.
Now,
And if
now
we
we're
could transfer that, so when we get home, just keep that same mindset.
that is wonderful. That is actually a wonderful takeaway. Yeah. Yeah. The common denominator in traveling is the word is curiosity, adventurous, creative, and open. That's travel. Everything is
I think all
moving.
those qualities that you were mentioning, we have those as children. We're born with those, with the curiosity, with the openness to other people. And we just start closing off, I think, the older we get, we just start to lose some of that. So that's my goal, and Roberta's goal is to remind people you still have those qualities inside you. You can reignite them to your benefit. So people ask me, what's your why? What's your purpose on the planet? And the answer for me forever has been just to witness it. Like, I don't know how I ended up on this dust speck. It's flying through the universe, but there's all these amazing things that we don't know exist anywhere else. I've got a very short time on this dust speck. How dare I not see all the people and all the places and all the nature that I possibly can? So that's my mission.
I was listening to Mel Robbins, and she was talking about that, us being born, the DNA that we have, being born at this time, wherever we were born to, the parents that we were born to, 1 in 400 trillion. Those are the odds that you are you and you are you and I am me. And how can we not then live with purpose and passion and enthusiasm for the other people who are also 1 in 400 trillion? I can't even.
I don't know. When it's above a trillion, I lost you.
No, I'm done. So
yeah. I mean, that relates back to I want to quit when you shared, Lori. I want to quit, and then comes the scout. No. He's not the scout. He's that the scout. He came disguised as a scout kid, but it's not it. It's your voice that says not quitting. You needed him or her, whoever, and it's a piece of gratitude what you're talking about. It's going into the unknown with the knowing that it is what it is in the now.
I do think when talking about your why and your purpose, I think a lot of people have this need to find their purpose and to find their own why. And there's a definite relation with traveling in that, because when you're traveling, you can put on so many different hats. You can try out so many different identities. You could literally change your name. You could introduce yourself as a different, if you've been Lori your whole life and you want to go by like Elle, I don't know, like you can play around and no one's going to say, hey, that's not what you usually do. And it makes sense why people crave this innocent way of learning about themselves, because it's no judgment and no one's and most of the time people don't really care about what you do, even if you stay in the same place your whole life. But this will kind of reinforce that, and you can try so many things. And I love that personally a lot. I really do.
You can be the CEO, you can be the street cleaner. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's not even coming in discussion. It's who are you? And that variety opens of, I'm traveling, I'm planning to, it's not about who you are. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. She said the judgment piece that here, I am and I am, this is my title and this is my label. Labels go away in traveling completely. Is what are you doing tonight? What did you do yesterday? Can you recommend this place? Yeah. What was your experience?
in response to Lori's question about world peace, right? It sounds to me like what you're saying is travel is a great equalizer, right? You don't have the CEO looking down on the street. So it does, we're just traveling together. And what is life anyway? Even if we don't get the train ticket or the plane ticket, it's just a journey.
I remember when I was scuba diving, I was like, this is the best way to meet people while traveling because there's no communication. You just like breathe at each other basically.
And you have a universal language, right?
This.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
music is you can just that's so cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and language is not really needed in traveling many times. People manage so many other ways of communicating, and it's working. It's just working.
Yes.
It's working.
Beautiful. So if somebody came to you and said, I have lived in a city my whole life. I don't even go, to the suburbs or downtown, but I really want to explore something new. What would you say? What's the first bit of advice each of you would have for them?
I would say it's irrelevant. You don't have to define yourself by us like living in the small quarters because you can just defy that rule with one purchase of a ticket. And then you will be that girl who goes across the world and that's your new or boy or whatever, that's your new identity. And where will that take you?
I would ask the person the question, first of all, amazing, what makes you leave your city?
I think it has to do with being comfortable. Like if you're uncomfortable, the more uncomfortable you get, like in your job, the more likely you are to make that change. Where if you're comfortable enough, maybe not happy or joyful, but you're just comfortable, then you're kind of afraid to do anything different. I saw in the Supersonus website, you said the most uncomfortable place to be is in the box. So you just got to get uncomfortable and then you'll be more willing to make changes or try something new, I think.
Yeah, the comfort zone is the least comfortable place.
Yeah.
If you think about it. And yeah.
In terms of travel, though, I think also you need to see someone else do it because it's really easy to if you never see someone else go to the other side of the world, then you don't even see it as an option. So I was definitely influenced after moving to Israel, seeing other people going on these big trips, realizing, like I can go on a big trip too.
Well, that's why I love Instagrams and TikToks like yours. That's where I get all my ideas and I see, oh, she can do it. Oh, Yael can hike the Himalayas. She can do it. I can do this. So
Yeah.
I think it's so great that you're sharing and sharing. Have you reached 20,000 followers yet?
I have on TikTok, I have 70,000.
Wow.
On Instagram, I'm getting there. I only kind of recently started posting there, so
It's amazing.
But it's been
So lucky to have that access. Well, I'm going to continue to follow, see what's happening in Sri Lanka. I'm going to continue to keep up with Yael and see how your travels go. And we thank you guys so much for being with us and sharing all this. Your stories are amazing. Your love for each other is inspiring. And I'm just so happy that you got to be one of those teams that the universe plopped in front of us.
What an honor and a privilege to meet you both. Someday, maybe in person. Thank you.
You too as well.
Thank you for the opportunity to share it. And the more you travel, the richer you get. But richer not with money. Oh yeah, money comes and goes. Experience, not so much.
Make new friends and reduce your apprehensions about traveling with Eyes of Wonder Journeys. Our experiences provide you with opportunities to meet people you might not ordinarily encounter. Whether we're enjoying a bento lunch with a teacher in Japan, interviewing an actor in New York City, or simply getting to know our fellow travelers with games and adventures, you'll come away with fresh perspectives and unexpected connections. Go to eyesofwonderjourneys.com to see what we've got planned. We hope to see you soon.